here for the MENRL Talladega race, lap 10 of 80. I apologize. For some reason, the stream went up and that's really unfortunate. But here we are, lap 10. Out front is Richard Mandonka. That one, Dylan Herbiton. We've got 9 drivers in for this one. Things to stage racing here. There's only one stage. Stage 1 is going to be lap 25. So we'll have a shootout until the end. We're going to take a couple moments right here to talk about the points situation. Currently leading the points is Dylan Herbiton, 3,066 points in the lead. Got 4 wins, 48 stages. Mason Thompson is just behind him by 12 points with 3,054. Zachary Mertz, 3,050. Curtis Ecker, the final driver of the top 4 with 3,000. Seems to me like these drivers have trying to continue staying in this position. Championship. I know I spoke with Curtis Ecker a little bit earlier. He's hoping to get a win this evening. A little surprised to see 3 wide and 2 wide racing right now, especially with this race is going to be only 12 and a half laps remaining until the stage. You can really expect these drivers to single file as opposed to double file. Risky. I expect this to go caution free until the last 3 laps. Drivers trying to make something happen, see how far they can go. Pushing early to see. Now, the caution here is going to be a big deal. You want to make sure that you don't speed down pit road. If you speed down pit road, you have to come through. Especially with this kind of field. Oh, and there's trouble right there. I spoke too soon. Caution's out. Let's try to see what happened right here. This is incredible. Trouble between Curtis Ecker and Richard Mandona here. Okay. Try to watch this one more time. I really want to know what happened. I'm going to back that up real quick and take a peek. Yeah, you know, it just looks like a little bit of closing speed. Got him in the corner right there, and around they go. All right, so what are these drivers going to do? Are they all going to come down pit road? You might as well, considering you only have one stage. So come down pit road, reset the field, and we'll get this one going. I'll be right back. All right, folks, thank you for sticking with us through that short break. All the drivers did come down pit road. They all pitted lap 14. Does not appear like there were any penalties. Only one driver did take 4 tires, however. Richard Mandonka appears, based on time, to have taken 4 tires. Everybody else seems to have opted to stay on the tires that they already have. Drivers are going to come down the long, slow way around this track to get ready to reset this race. We'll be coming to lap 17. Remember, stage break is on lap 25, and then we're going to race to the end. And as long as there's not a caution, we're likely to see green flag pit stops, which will make or break this race. Another view at the Curtis Ecker machine right here. Really awesome paint scheme where he was involved with the incident that caused that caution. Richard Mandonka, both of them out front, ended up hitting the inside barrier wall. Really not what you want to see, especially before the end of the first stage, especially with all field 9 drivers. Irvington, Jeremy Robbins are going to lead you guys back to the start zone where pace lights are out. Vehicles turn, the pace cars will make the left turn down pit road, and it's a very long stretch. The drivers are really going. Go on board with Dylan Irvington. Right here, staying at pace car speed. Pace car turns off right down to the yellow line, staying, not trying to get into too much throttle. You can see the drivers approaching the restart zone. At that point, you should see the green light. Waiting for, there it is, on the money. I think it's 100 miles per hour. 105 miles per hour across the start line for Dylan Irvington. Pretty solid restart right here. Not much contest from the outside. Zachary Mertz is going to follow right down to the yellow line, the same as Connors, as well as David Simcox Jr. Now, Simcox Jr. is going to move up the top line right behind Mason Connors. Starstone right here, demonstrating body on the left side that I can see right there as well. Lap 25 is the stage end. Go ahead and take a look at the right here. Outside air temperature 70. Just appearance for a couple more. Have to keep an eye on that. Make sure he doesn't leak out. And Curtis Ecker with the big move to the outside by Zachary Mertz. Now we're double file racing. That being said, outside air temperature 77 degrees. A little bit of a breezy, 50% humidity, partly cloudy. The track temperature at same time, May 15th. Coming to turn number 3, Zachary Mertz trying to work the top, work the bottom. Again, these guys are sorted out back here. Looks like Curtis Ecker was involved as well as number 21. Jeremy Robbins, both drivers kind of bounced off of each other right there and gather that up and prevent more issues from occurring, especially for Curtis Ecker. You don't want to see trouble for that driver. My name's Jonathan Leach. I'm filling in for James Bryan. He's not here this evening. Talladega is a 6.5-mile track, 500 feet above sea level. Talk about a couple drivers that I have seen around before, had the pleasure of racing with. Holy cow, look at that. 4 wide for a moment right there. A couple drivers looking for stage points. Dave Simcox Jr., Mason Connors, both of them could greatly benefit from just big points. Drivers that I personally am familiar with, Dylan Irvington, pretty fast. It's been about a year since I've seen him on track or talked to this man. Pretty quick. Another fast driver, Mason Thompson, number 81. Still driving the number 81. Last time I saw him was number 1. Go back over here to the points for a moment. Jeremy Robbins is on the outside of the top 4 looking in. He's only 6 points back for this race. Stage points would really help him out. Also, David Simcox Jr. He is on the outside looking in. He could use some stage points. Richard Mandonka, currently 7th. He needs stage points as well. Now, none of these 4 drivers have won a stage yet. He had received playoff. Didn't earn 12. So 12 points for a stage win. That makes a difference here between Jeremy Robbins and Curtis Ecker. So if Jeremy Robbins gets up here, or Simcox, he gets those 12 points. Curtis Ecker is now going to be having to win the race in order to get himself in. But talking to him pre-race, that's what he told me he wanted to do. He wanted to win the race, lock himself in order to make the final 4. Really close racing right here on board. Mason Thompson currently running in 7th. Looking over the right here quarter panel. And it's Zachary Mertz behind him. Take a look at the other side, get a better view right here. Now on board with him. I'm coordinate. Jeremy Robbins. Herberton has the most stage drivers. We've got trouble. That's going to end the stage. Number 2, Zachary Mertz going around. Dylan Herberton was out front. Herberton. Not going to make a difference for any of these drivers on the bubble. If one of the drivers below the cut line was to have won this stage, that could have been a giant difference. It could have forced Curtis Ecker to the outside looking in. Not quite... wouldn't have been enough to upsert Zachary Mertz, who's sitting in 3rd with an 11-point gap over Curtis Ecker. But if Jeremy Robbins would have won stage, he would have received 12 stage points and would have passed Curtis Ecker. Curtis Ecker also coming in 7th, not picking up any stage points. The top 5 earned stage points. Coming off the end of the stage break as the pace car is coming down pit road now. Mason Thompson, Dylan Herbertson are going to lead these drivers back to the green. All drivers came down pit road. A handful of them took tires. A few of them did not. The two on the front row did not take tires. David Simcox Jr., starting third, does have tires. Here we go on the gas. These drivers are off. Mason Thompson out in front by a one-car lead. Dylan Herbertson going to follow him right down to the line. Thompson and Herbertson still together out front. 49 of Mandonka right there. Then you have to go up to the next lane to get the next group of drivers led by Jeremy Robbins, Curtis Ecker right behind him, Mason Connors. These drivers trying to make the high lane of this one work. We're going to have about 50 laps of racing, folks. We'll see if we're going to have another caution. We've had two now. We didn't have the stage break as intended. It was actually a yellow flag caused stage break. Dylan Herbertson did come home with the stage win. Does not shake up the points all that much, considering how that happened there. Any of these top 8 drivers can lock themselves into the championship with a victory this evening. Go over the top 8 drivers. Dylan Herbertson leads the standings with Mason Thompson, Zachary Mertz, Curtis Ecker coming into this race in the top 4. Jeremy Robbins, David Simcox Jr., Richard Mandonka, Bill English. Top 8. Bill English not here for this race. It's number 52 machine. I don't see him here. Probably going to be a little bit further back. He's going to have to win one in order to get in. Side-by-side racing still here at Talladega, 30 on lap 31 of this one. We go on board with a handful of these drivers to show you guys what they see around track. you've got kind of, I mean, I'm not going to call it two packs. You've got a group of 4 cars, and you've got 2 groups right after them. You got a group of 2 on the top, a group of 2 on the bottom. You got Mason Connors trying to figure out where he wants to go. Up top, he wants to go low. Up top, I'm telling you, folks, Super Speedway racing with 9 cars is not a whole lot of fun. There's not a whole lot of action, not a lot of things to really make this exciting. But what I will tell you is when you come down to 2 laps to go, and all 9 of these drivers are 4x4 by 1 or 5x5, 5x4 or 4x5 coming to the last lap, the last 2 laps of this race are going to be very exciting. Because if you're Curtis Ecker, if you're a Jeremy Robbins or a David Simcox Jr., this is your best opportunity to win and lock yourself into an opportunity to race for the championship. We looked at the points earlier. David Herverton has 4 wins. Mason Thompson has 3 wins. And it was Richard Mandonka, I think it was. Excuse me, Zachary Mertz has another 3 wins, I believe it was. I'll double check to make sure I'm accurate on those. None of these other drivers have wins. Nobody else. Yeah, it's Dylan Herverton with 4, Mason Thompson with 3, Zachary Mertz with 4. With Curtis Ecker, Robbins, Simcox Jr., Mandonka, those drivers have not won a race yet. That tells me that those other 3 are very competitive on the more technical tracks. But Talladega is a bit of a wild card. Every single driver on track can win this race. Lap 39 now. Talladega almost halfway. Jeremy Robbins out front now. Been trading back and forth with Dylan Herverton. 2-lane racing now. This is going to get a little bit exciting here for a couple moments. And holy cow, that was a big move right there. Maybe a little bit more aggressive than you want to see up front to slide in front of Mason Thompson, who was on the high side right there. You don't want to take yourself out of this race early. It looks like they all have a faster pair. We saw that with Mandonka and Curtis Ecker. But you don't want to have to use that now. You want to save that for the inevitable 5 to go crash that takes out most of the field. I don't think all 9 of these drivers are going to finish this race. Because once again, Jeremy Robbins can win this race. Curtis Ecker can win this race. Tim Cox Jr. needs to win this race. Those 3 drivers need to win this race to put themselves in the conversation for the championship. All right, folks, we're seeing the first couple pit stops coming down pit road in this stage. Lap 44, Dylan Herverton, Richard Mendonça. I've got some help with this name. Mason Thompson and Zachary Mertz coming down pit road. Thanks for the regular here, James Riles. Kind of keeping an eye on things, taking a day off. Help me get the name right, Mendonça. Sorry about that. That's 44 laps of butchering, but we'll correct that from now. Better looking overlay now. First one that came around just I didn't get the right one. Sorry about that, folks. Rest of the drivers are on pit road, led by Curtis Ecker. Try to get a better angle right there. Here's Mason Connors, Curtis Ecker coming down pit road as well. So you had the top 3, Richard Mendonça, Mason Thompson, Zachary Mertz, Dylan Herverton. They all came down pit road together. Herverton coming off minute and 8 seconds pit lane time. Looks like a penalty. It's going to cost him his race unless there's a caution. Mason Connors coming out. Chris Isaacs, Jeremy Robbins, Curtis Ecker, and Simcox Jr. all coming out together. This is the shakeup that I was talking about when the green flag pit stops came around. Where were these drivers gonna be when this all comes through? Mason Connors he's out in front by 6 seconds. Looks like he didn't take any tires, neither did Chris Isaacs. But what's going to happen is Connors is going to be out here all by himself, significantly slower than the field. Then you're going to have this 4-car group, maybe 5-car group, because it's the Mason Thompson, Richard Mandonza catching back up here. They're gonna fall back to this group of 3, and never mind, it's not even gonna matter, as you're gonna see Mandonza come down the track, spinning a little bit more, trying to gather it up, and he's going to. Could have been a big break for Dylan Herviton. Gonna be a terrible break for Mandonza right here, who's gonna find himself all by himself without any crafting help. I take that back. You do have David Simcox Jr., but the 2 cars will not be faster than 4 cars. Mason Connors still out front by about 5.5 seconds, but this 4-ship right here, Isaacs, Ecker, Robbins, and Thompson, are going to close in a hurry. Zachary Mertz out here by himself, pitted in lap 43. Not really sure how he ended up on his own, but he is all by himself. And then Dylan Herviton, we see the penalty right there. The whole new complexion in this race right now. Zachary Mertz with 3 wins, Herviton with 4 wins. Without a caution, they're out. They are no longer in contention for Mason Thompson, Mertz and Herviton have 4 wins. Thompson with 3 wins. He's still a contender. This is what Ecker, or Robbins, or Mandonza, or Simcox Jr., what these guys need to have an opportunity to get in the championship for and win this race. It helps when you take the juggernauts of the league out, and they all, for the most part, aside from Mason Thompson, took themselves out of this race. We're going to take a couple minutes, get up close and personal with these machines for an old-fashioned segment. Turn it up. I'll be right back. further away. We have more trouble on track. Kind of not really what we were expecting with the small field. Trouble being David Simcox Jr. being a part of a crash. Wow, that violent looking here. Try to get exactly what happened. Yeah, trouble right there with Mendonça and Simcox Jr. I really can't explain this. Apologize for having to back up like this. Instant replay feature isn't behaving with us right here and allowing me to really get a solid view of what happened. Let's go on board, see if there was any foul intent here. And round he goes. And it looks like he's going to be on pit road for an extended period of time. Zach Mertz is on pit road for an extended period of time. It looks like it's going to take a couple of these drivers out of the race. That's the break that Herberton needed, though. All by himself. Ended up not going a lap down. It's going to restart 6th. Have a handful of laps to go. Another shakeup here at Talladega this evening. Coming down the backstretch now, getting ready to be back under green here at the MENRL Talladega Super Speedway race. We're going to come to green, coming to lap 54. Going to be less than 30 laps remaining here at Talladega. 8 of our 9 drivers are currently on track, as we saw get the short end of the stick a couple moments ago. There he is, putting 4 tires on right now. Looks like he's got a clean race car. And now with however things went, a little surprised that he was out and was on pit road for that long. It appears like a faster pair was he. Going at least a couple laps down right here, looks like. But I've seen weirder happen. All fields at Talladega. He might find his way back on the lead lap towards the end of this one. We'll just have to see how calm or not calm. The rest of the field intends to remain. His car came down. Mason and Mason's. A Mason front row here at Talladega on the gas. Connors is going to lead them to green with about a 1-car length over Jeremy Robbins and Mason Thompson. Down to the yellow line, Jeremy Robbins pulls Thompson to the outside, trying to make the high lane work. It's going to be 2 by 2, 3 cars back. Managed to the low line as far as car count goes. Lap 54, trying to catch up behind them is Simcox Jr., who did not get all the way around. He's kind of a sitting duck back here. He might have a bit of the draft, but I think he's going to end up losing out. He is 2 laps down. He's going to need a little bit of help. 2 cautions should be enough in order to, 2 cautions, 3 pass twice. Should be able to get himself back on the lead lap unless he can somehow get up, take a lap back the hard way. The caution come out, and here it is. Oh man, Zachary Mertz damage again. Like the one of Mason Connors just tries to come into the top lane, and there's not room right there. Taco Bell machine of Mason Thompson is there. The rest of the field is in it. Curtis Eckert gets a piece. He was involved earlier. Really, it seemed like the only car that got away with it was Jeremy Robbins. Laps remaining, go back to green with probably 22 laps remaining in the fun. All right, these drivers came down pit road once again. Top three not staying on pit road for more than 9 seconds. I don't think tires were a factor. Drivers starting 4th through 8th were all on pit road for at least 21 seconds. Curtis Ecker was on pit road for a minute and 50 seconds attempting to repair damage. Kind of was in a bad place at a bad time for what happened a few moments prior. There will be about 22 laps to go. Coming to 22 to go. We go back racing here to settle this one here at Talladega. I appreciate everybody sticking out here for the lower car count race this evening. Tuesdays are a little bit hard sometimes to fill for these leagues. The racing really hasn't been too terribly bad. I've seen some really aggressive moves. I've seen some really good moves. But we all know that these races at super speedways, they don't really get good until 5 laps. That's when things really come down to it. Aside from ending your race or getting involved with in carnage or in a wreck of some sort, not much you can do in the first 98% of this race that's gonna make a difference, especially with only a 10-car field. Now, in a 30-car field, the first 98% is important to kind of get you in position, but any one of the top 8 can win this race. Tim Cox is only 1 lap down now. One more caution, and he's right back in this. Just one. It only takes one. And I think he's going to get it. I don't think who needs to win a race like this to be a part of the championship for. Don't forget Curtis Ecker and Richard Mann as well to get in. Here we go on the throttle. Dylan Herberton back out to the front. Is going to lead these drivers to the green. Jeremy Robbins is going to lead the low line with the high line above him. With him, also, you have Curtis Ecker and Simcox Jr. not wasting any time back the hard way if you can do it. Had a little bit of a blink issue right there at Herberton. Jeremy Robbins already I wonder if he's deciding he wants to stay out of any potential trouble. As you can see, Herberton getting a huge push right here by Mason. Not unheard of by these two. I saw this a lot when I raced with them a couple years back. These guys tend to race with each other. Really kind of cool to see that. Don't look now, Curtis Ecker down low, the high side. You got Robbins, Hertz, below line right here. Top side up there with them. You got the number 3 of Chris Isaacs, some kind of all over the place, trying a couple different lines, back and forth, back and forth. Down low now, you've got Isaacs and Gonza, Robbins. High side, you got Mertz down there. 3 wide racing right here. I don't really think it's time for this kind of racing with 21 laps to go. But I guess at this point you want to know how well your car is going to respond, or if it's going to respond, trying to get up front, how it's going to act in dirty air. Gosh, 3 wide. They're making this interesting. I really don't want to see a two-car race to the end here. So I'd like to see these cars all stay in one piece. Two-car race to the end is not going to be very entertaining for me. But we're trying to make it the best that we can right here. With control of the race once again, still in Herberton. Mason Thompson seems to be pretty content riding around right behind him. Mendonca's there as well. Then about a quarter of a second back, you get to fourth here, Jeremy Robbins. And you got Simcox Jr. Fourth and running, but he is a lap down. Not scored in the fourth position. That belongs to Jeremy Robbins. Curtis Eckers fifth. And you're starting to really see damage that these drivers have taken its toll. Try to take a look at trying to get a good look at these machines. Not too much damage there. You know, I'm really not seeing damage. Maybe he's lollygagging just a bit here, trying to stay out of some trouble. I know we used a fast repair earlier, so maybe he's staying back a bit in case something were to happen. And you know, I don't like that strategy. I really do not like that strategy. There's only 5 cars up front as Herberton blinks out once again. There he's back, gone again, right back there. That's terrifying, folks, to the drivers around him. You don't know if you're to basically spawn back into the car, and then all of a sudden you've got one heck of a wreck. Looks like he's going to give up the lead with that trouble right there. In fact, that's Cox Jr. out front. This looks like it's by design. He is no longer a lap down. Jeremy Robbins to the lead, right behind him. Now, if something is to happen, Lucky Dog doesn't come into play. He gets to pit with leaders, and running order is still going to be ninth. But in the event that there were more drivers on track, not taking the Lucky Dog is advantageous because he would start with the lead drivers as opposed to the tail end of the lap. Jeremy Robbins to the side right here. Now they're going to go back around Simcox Jr. So much for getting his lap back the hard way. All 4 of these drivers decided that they were going to freight train right on by. .5 laps remaining. I apologize about the yawn right there. Robbins out front with Thompson. Herberton running 4th now of these guys out front. Number 46, the Mendonca, looking to get for a victory here tonight would really help his playoff chances, as he's currently 9 points on the outside looking in. Coming into this race, we did have stage points that will come into play. However, I'm not certain what that's going to make the standing like as further. Next week we'll have a much better idea how the season, who is where, who's like the Mason Thompson looking to lock himself in as well with the victory. But again, at a racetrack like this, the drivers that haven't won yet, this is their opportunity. Capital. This is when they need to fight. Getting ready to come to 15 laps to go. We're going to take one last moment to turn it up. Be back in a few minutes. All right, folks, 13 laps remaining. We're seeing some green flag pit stops. Zachary Mertz coming down a couple moments ago. Curtis Ecker led this group down pit road, down on 66, excuse me. Curtis Ecker, Mason Connors, Robbins, Chris Isaacs. So half the field coming down pit road already. The only driver still on track are Dylan Herberton, Jason Thompson, Richard Mendonça. I'm assuming they're going to have to come down pit road. 5 drivers did come down. Shirley will have to. Zachary Mertz right here getting past Curtis Ecker in front of this lead group right here. Now, depending how this shakes out, Ecker could be in a really good position. They're going to have a full head of steam built up by the time the top 3 are coming off of pit road. He might have an opportunity to be leading this race with 4 laps remaining. Then, of course, you just have to pass you. Curtis Ecker, Mason Connors kind of by themselves right now, as Robbins, Isaacs are with themselves as well. And they're about a second behind Zachary Mertz, so they're going to have to get together. And then they're likely going to have to catch Curtis Ecker and Mason Connors. You got a couple 2-car tandems. Here come the top 3 come down pit road. We're going to keep an eye on this to make sure everything goes smoothly. Only expecting to see splash and goes here. It stops no less or no more than 8 seconds. 723, 698, 740. See how well these guys get off pit road, as Ecker is 30 seconds behind these drivers right now in the restart zone. Really picking up speed. Should be coming around. Getting around them any second now. 6 seconds behind. Only 2 seconds behind. They're already up to speed. Wow, I'm going to end up right behind these guys and not catch them. And the only reason I can think of this is that Dylan Herberton and Mason Thompson got onto pit road significantly more aggressive and got off pit road significantly more aggressively. Curtis Ecker and Mason Connors did. When you don't take tires and you're running hot tires at this track, getting off of pit road, trying to go full throttle is very slippery, very difficult. You risk car stepping out on you and wrecking on your out lap. That's not what the rest of the drivers want. However, hope is not lost, because Curtis Ecker and Mason Connors have Mendonça in tow now. 3 cars versus 2 cars. Eventually the 3 should catch the top 2. They're only 2 seconds behind them. Only 2 seconds. Look a little bit further back, another 7 seconds behind them. You got another 3-car tandem of Robbins and Mertz. I think these 3 took themselves out of the race. They didn't have the best pit stops, or they didn't get on pit road very well and get off very well. I think it's going to be a battle between the top 5. But in order for it to be a deal here, these 3 drivers have got to get together, start really chipping away lap time in order to catch top 2 of Herberton and Mason Thompson. And I will say that last time by, they were about a 1/10.5 faster than the leaders. 1/10.5 and 9 laps to go is not going to be fast enough when it's under 2 seconds. Curtis Ecker bringing it down now to 1.5 seconds. Really making some gains. You can see the difference right here in turns 3. And what's going on here is the top 2 aren't really hooked up anymore. And so this 3-car group, Ecker and you got Mason Connors right on the rear bumper. They've already closed this gap to under a second. We're going to have a 5-car battle for the win. Coming to 7 laps to go. Excuse me, 8 laps to go this time by. Curtis Ecker really closing in. My question is going to be, is he going to immediately go for the lead, or is he going to sit here and wait for a minute? I think what I want to do is I want to go for the lead. I want to go down right in front of Herberton, make him pass me on the outside. Don't have the guts to pass him on the outside. And I think, again, Herberton is going to go to the outside. That's what he's going to... Now he's going to try to bring his partner with him. He's going to have to pull down on his own, or he's not going to have the opportunity. Going to be a missed opportunity to try to do this together. He's going to have to clear him right now. The advantage is to the low line. There he goes. Curtis Ecker leaving Mason Connors to put his car now in front of Herberton. 6.5 laps remaining. We have a 5-car breakaway for the win. Single file. Now anything can happen right here. 2 wide, 3 wide. Got a freight train trying to go around. Put him out by himself. Put him to the back of the group. Mendonça with the move down to the low lane, trying to make something happen. He might have enough speed to get to the front with this move. He does. Herberton going to have to pass, or excuse me, settle in right behind him. Ecker trying to make a move around the side to Mason Thompson. This kind of move can work by yourself, but you're going to have to get much closer to the competitor than you are. Curtis Ecker now to the inside of Herberton, and he needs to win this race. He knows he needs to win this race. There are some solid side drafting right there. You can barely put a foot in between those two drivers. 5.5 laps remaining. This is finally start to get exciting. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Are all 5 of these cars going to be in play? Are they going to spin one? They put one on the wall. A little beating and banging back and forth. They gather it up. That's the battle between the two Masons, Connors and Thompson. Now we got a 3-way breakaway here. Those two are about 6 car lengths behind. Curtis Ecker sitting in the 3rd place position right here. The question is, can Curtis Ecker win if Herberton and Mendonça tangle? 5 laps to go now. Connors back next. Thompson back in the mix. The other 3 drivers holding steady at about 7.5 seconds back and unfortunately losing time. Their only hope is if something happens up front. But the way these drivers are racing up front, I'm not going to say that is out of the picture. It absolutely can happen. Remember, Ecker needs to win this race. Mendonça needs to win this race. Jeremy Robbins would absolutely like to win the race. And here we go. Here's the trouble right here. Mason Thompson goes around. Ecker has to hang on to it. Caution is out. Simcox Jr. is going to get the wave around. We're going to have 9 cars remaining. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout to win at Talladega. Incredible. Just what I expected. I expected to see all 9 vehicles in a shootout for the win. In fact, this is not what anybody wanted, because now it's anybody's race. Anybody can race. You brought Mertz back into it, 4-time winner. Chris Isaacs is back into it. Robbins. Got 7 drivers that could use this win. Really 6, because Herberton's already locked in. But you've got 6 drivers that could use this win, lock themselves into the playoffs, run into the championship round. And if you don't think Mason Thompson will move you to win, you don't know Mason Thompson. Curtis Ecker, he's pretty hopeful. No wins on the season. Robbins, no wins on the season. Simcox Jr., no wins on the season. Mendonça, no wins on the season. Got 105 laps led. Just hasn't been able to seal the deal. You guys are hungry. You guys are real hungry. We're going to see how this one plays out. Expect the pace lights to turn off next time by, and we're going to have ourselves a green-white checkered finish. All right, folks. Laps ticking down. Again, we're going to come back to green with 2 laps to go. Mason Thompson's on pit road repairing some damage, as well as Simcox Jr. Remember, not Simcox Jr., excuse me. I'm showing just Mason Thompson just finishing his damage repairs. Simcox Jr. now going to be back on the lead lap. Looks like Thompson is going to be starting 9th. Only 5 rows back. 4 rows back from the lead. I think we're going to see a couple very aggressive moves. I think we're going to see 3 wide. I think we're going to see somebody get turned. I don't think the person leading is going to win the race. I'm not saying that's going to be the leader of Richard Mendonça, but it could be. Not too sure how this one's going to shake out in these next 2 laps. Pace lights are out. Drivers are going to get 2 by 2. Next time around, the pace car is going to dive down pit road, and we're going to wrap this race up. It's going to be over very quickly, assuming we don't have a wreck immediately before we get to the white flag, which is a very real possibility. This one's going to get wrapped up quick. Under 2 minutes, we're going to have our winner. Is he going to be a repeat winner? Is Dylan Herverton going to win too? Is Richard Mendonça going to lock himself in, or Curtis Ecker? What about Mason Thompson? Will be Simcox Jr. coming from 9th? Or Jeremy Robbins? Chris Isaacs? The thing about this race with 9 drivers, all 9 drivers can win the race. All 9. Take a second look at where these drivers qualified. Dylan Herverton qualified up front. Mendonça 2nd. Mason Thompson started 3rd. Curtis Ecker 4th. Chris Isaacs posted the 5th fastest time. Mason Connors starting 7th. Zachary Mertz started 6th. Simcox Jr. 8th. Jeremy Robbins started 9th. These drivers getting a little bit antsy. Might need to tighten up the seat belts. Relax their grip just a little bit for a moment, because they're going to be real heavy on the wheel here in just a second. And you know all 9 of these drivers, they can win the race. Game of inches. How much are you gonna risk? How much are you gonna give? Don't lose that many points going from 2nd to 9th for a chance to win at Talladega and lock yourself in. Mendonça's going to lead them to the green. Slow drive down to the restart zone. In the restart zone, green flag is out for we're going to have 3 laps remaining here at Talladega. Dylan Herverton looking. He's going to come down to the inside. No, he's going to stay right up behind Mendonça coming into turn number 1. Now he's going to move down. His health didn't go with him. Mason Connors to the high side. Curtis Ecker looking to the high side as well. Mendonça out in front by 1 car length. 2 by 2. Now by 2. Mendonça trying to make that vehicle as wide as he can. It's too late now as Connors is to his outside. Now showing 2 laps remaining as I expected. Next time by is the white flag. Oh, gather it up right here. Nope, there's trouble. There goes Curtis Ecker spinning into the inside. Not what he's looking for. Still a green. More trouble out front. These drivers couldn't even get around to the white flag. Holy cow, what the heck just happened to Thompson? going to try to watch this here and see what all happened. More trouble up front. Thompson gets clipped. Oh, ramping in that machine. A little bit of bottoming out action right there. Well, looks like we're going to have to try this one again. Multiple incidents on that lap right there. We're going to have a little bit extra time. We're going to step away one more time, one last break. That way I can call the end of this race. As we're getting ready to reset, try this one more time. Another green-white flicker. Green-white checkered, excuse me. Dylan Herberton. Zachary Mertz going to be restarting on the front row this time with Simcox Jr. We saw him with early damage down 2 laps. He has a chance to race, restarting third. Chris Isaacs is going to be starting fourth. Mason Thompson. Jeremy Robbins, sixth. Curtis Ecker, Mason Connors, Richard Mann, Gonza still on pit road. Two of those drivers were hoping for an opportunity to race here, especially because they don't have a win on the season. Number 46 driver, Mendonça, has 100 and I believe 12 laps led. 105 laps led this. doesn't seem out for him. The only driver, two drivers still trying to win this race that have not yet won this. And that can end up in the final four. Jeremy Robbins with the fan in the YouTube chat. And David Simcox Jr. Between Herberton and Mertz on the front row, these drivers have 8 wins, 4 and 4. Mason Thompson, 5th, has won 3 times this season. We're going to try this one more time. Last time they wrecked coming to the white flag. Can they get around this time? Will there be another attempt? Will there be patience? Are they going to try to win it this lap? Or somebody going to wait until the last corner? And remember, if you make your move coming out of turn 4, that might be too soon. Anyway, folks, appreciate you for being here. Long race at Talladega, 9 cars, not a lot of entertainment, but this is the showtime. Herberton and the number 36 Mustang is outside. Zachary Mertz, number 2 Camaro, into the restart zone. Herberton is on the throttle. Drivers, I hope you have a tight grip on the wheel. You're going to need it. Herberton and Simcox Jr. lead the way. Simcox Jr. going to be stuck on the outside. Excuse me, that's Zachary Mertz stuck on the outside as Simcox Jr. dives down in between, splitting up the duo of Herberton and Mason Thompson. Seen those two drivers working together a lot this race. Kind of funny that they're a Ford and a Camaro. You don't see that very often, but this is virtual, not reality. And sim racing media is where virtual is reality. Dylan Herberton, Mason Thompson now lead the way. This race is not over yet. 6 drivers still have a chance at it. Herberton without blinking. Earlier we saw him having some connection issues. Haven't seen those since. Thompson's in the mix. 21 of Jeremy Robbins is in the mix. Robbins currently sits 5th in the standings. To the white flag. I'm not sure if Dylan Herberton is in the position that you want to be in order to win this race. What will Mason Thompson do? What about Zachary Mertz? Up front, the top 3, 12 wins this season so far. Excuse me, 11 wins this season. Robbins does not have a win. Who's going to make the move to win the race? Pushing, beating, banging Thompson to the point. Robbins trying to follow him into turn number 3. Does he have anything for him coming out of 4? About a car length between him and Mason Thompson. Is he going to be able to make a move to the outside, to the inside? Thompson throwing some aggressive blocks. Jeremy Robbins to the inside. Will he be able to make it? Who's it going to be? Mason Thompson as the wrecking coming to the line. Mason Thompson, 4-time winner this year. We're going to have to watch this one more time to show you how it happened. I'm going to turn 4. Thompson to the lead. Sorry about the grandstands being in the way. Try to slow this down here. Get a slightly better angle. Robbins gets forced down to the yellow line. Back up. Isn't making a pass. Really no fault of his own. Simcox Jr. hits number 36. Herberton no longer in it. Simcox Jr. comes down. He just rear ends the number 21, trying to make something happen. Right here, Robbins is in front. But his momentum is more down than it is forward. Giving this race, Mason Thompson, who will now lock himself into the championship round. Something that I'm pretty used to seeing right here. Mason Thompson burning it down. He survived. We had overtime, more than 80 laps. 84 laps to decide the winner. 9 competitors. Mason Thompson is now a 4-time winner. But give me a couple moments. We'll be bringing top 3 drivers in to talk and discuss their thoughts on this race. Joining me now in the booth, the number 22 driver, David Simcox Jr. David, you found yourself 2 laps down for about the last third of this race. You needed some help. I mentioned it in the race that you had to get a couple lucky dogs. I kind of figured it was going to happen. It did happen. You brought it home third, maybe with an opportunity to win. I saw you slam into Jeremy Robbins. I think you had an opportunity there. But when you were 2 laps down, did you think your race was over, or were you able to remain calm and think you still had a shot?
No, I was pretty upset. I thought it was like a waste of an hour and a half.
I
I was
understand.
bitching the whole time.
Well, it worked out for you. End up I mean, I guess it doesn't really work out for you. You needed a win to really propel yourself and lock yourself in. But finishing third, uh, finished better than your competitors. You needed to beat Curtis Ecker. You needed to beat Mendonça. Well, some losing train of thought here. And you did finish behind Jeremy Robbins, so you might lose a little ground to him. But you're going to gain ground on 2 other competitors. But coming out of turn 4, explain what happened. You just kind of react and do what you had to do, or walk us through that.
I was gonna go wherever was gonna benefit me more, and they went with me, and I wasn't lifting. I wish I would have spun them better so I could have got the win.
That's an honest answer when you're got 100 yards left. I appreciate that. David, anybody you want to mention, thank before we let you go, sir?
I want to thank the console side of MENRL for always sticking with us, Curtis for hosting this on this side of the MENRL, and congratulations to the 81.
All right, folks. That's David Simcox Jr. Couple laps down, managed to finish third in this one, had a shot at the win. David, I hope you have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Joining me now in the booth, driver of the number 21 Ford Mustang, Jeremy Robbins. Kind of feel like you got robbed at the end of that one, to be honest. Mind walking me through the last, let's say the last corner? Because, I mean, it's not really a race until you're coming out of 4 anyway.
It was, man, I got an EOL because of that incident and what checker that I had with the 46. But, starting out at the back, and I luckily still had a fast repair up. So I knew I was going to have to fight through it. But that last lap on that back stretch, I said in the chat, man, it was like road construction blocks everywhere. I was surprised my steering wheel didn't come off the freaking desk just trying to get through it. David was after the win like I was. If I just kept it straight instead of it turning sideways, I think I would have for sure stole that from Mason.
I try not to root for people, as the producer of these shows, but Mason Thompson now with 4 wins, Zachary Mertz with 4 wins, Dylan Herverton with 4 wins, a whole bunch of other guys that haven't won yet. and super speedways being your best opportunity, considering I know the talent of Thompson and Herviton. I was really kind of hoping to see a first time season winner, and I thought you were going to pull it off. But, when Simcox Jr. ran into the back of you, the closing speed was significant. And I think if he would have been able to split y'all, I think he would have passed y'all. But instead, he managed to hit you both. And y'all were literally sideways, and you were a little bit more down the track, and Mason was a little bit more forward, and Mason just edged you out for the win. So one last question. What's it like driving around here with 9 cars for 78 laps, just kind of waiting around?
New cautions make it interesting.
They made it a little interesting because you didn't know who was going to be able to keep racing. Kind of my thought.
A lot of them went to a fast comparison in the beginning, and I was fortunate enough. And I was able to hold me to the end. But,
right.
That's what put me back in the spot for it. And like I said, I got into Richard because he was fighting to get into, just like me and David was, and Curtis. So, I ain't won one yet, but, consistency's putting me in a place where maybe I can, what's that saying? Blind hog finds a nut every now and then.
Blind hog finds a nut every now. I don't think that's the term.
Well, it is now.
Well, Jeremy, had a good run, man. You really gave it a run for the money there in the last corner. Is there anyone you want to mention? Thank before let you go.
Man, MENRL for them putting this on. With SBRN for running the card. Unfortunately, most of my team didn't finish it, but I had some help out there amongst everybody, and just everybody coming out here and watching the race every night. And keep the support up for SNR and SRM, and just push it towards the top.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun watching the last bit of the race, and it's a good time. So, Jeremy, thank you for being a part of the interview process. Good job on P2. I know it wasn't what you were looking for, but oh so close yet oh so far. I hope you have a good night.
Sir, thank you.
Joining me now in the booth for the 4th time this season, driver the number 81 Camaro, Mason Thompson is your winner at Talladega. Mason, what were your thoughts when you were sideways about 100 yards away from the checkered flag?
Oh man. Well, honestly, I thought I lost it because I don't know. I thought old Jeremy had a better angle going to the start finish line. I was like, well, I gave him my all. I did everything I could. Just hopefully I'll slide faster. But I guess it worked. I did slide faster. I guess got to the line first, but it was an exciting race, exciting finish.
The finish was exciting. Watching the 78 laps prior to the first 2, not so much, I gotta be honest. But the last bit of these races are always a lot of fun. And I mentioned it in the broadcast at a point. Really, when you have a little smaller field of, say, 9 drivers like this, most of what you do the first 98% of the race doesn't really affect you unless you tear up your car. And we saw a little bit of that.
Yeah, but I feel like also 98% of it is like, don't mess up on pit road because you're going to have green flag stops. And if you mess up on pit road, that's like, and you don't have any yellows. Like if we went flag to flag, like if you mess up on pit road on a plate track, if you go flag to flag, it's like, it's there's no recovering because, unless you like get lucky and you happen to have somebody else mess up with you and then you have somebody like to draft with. But if you're by yourself, then it's riding around for however long. But also I feel like, they always say like it's a game of survival. I mean, even with like 10 of us, it's still a game of survival because I mean anything can happen. So, but
Yeah, I concur with that. If it would have gone flag to flag, aside from the stage break, the 36, Dylan Herverton would not have been in it because I'm assuming he sped and he got held on pit road for about 30 seconds and he was all by himself and then had a timely caution about 5 laps after that and he was right back into this. And then driver Simcox Jr., who finished third, he was 2 laps down. You're out of the race. But he got lucky, had a couple, or he got lucky, had a couple cautions, and it worked out for him. And really, at the end of it, it worked out for you. So, if you don't mind, if you still remember that wild last lap, walk us through how you won this race.
Well, I don't have it pulled up, but I can picture it kind of. I'd like to think I have pretty good short-term memory. Anyways, I just remember we took the white and I'm behind Dylan, and I don't know who was behind me. I think Jeremy was behind me or somebody, and we were all lined up, and I think we went to the bottom, going into 1 and 2, and I was trying to check up. No, it was Mertez. Mertez was behind me because I was checking up to try and get him to hit my bumper and get a run around Dylan, and we got to the backstretch, and I mean it's the last lap. I don't blame Jeremy for this. I mean, but he was shoving me, and I got to Dylan's bumper, and you can't push the pusher, but last lap, I mean you're going for it. He basically shoved me through Dylan, which, like I said, I don't blame him. It's the last lap. You're not gonna lift, and luckily Dylan saved it. Well, he hit the wall, but I mean, could have been a lot worse. Could have took us all out. But yeah, and and like I was excited for 2 seconds, and then until I realized middle 3 and 4, I was like, oh man, I'm really far out. This is not good. And I knew I had to block. I didn't think I had to block him, Jeremy, twice, because I blocked him that one time. I was like, man, okay, I might be good. And then he came back with a run again, going through the travel. I was like, oh, because I don't know why, but like I saw Dylan coming, and then I saw Jeremy on the bottom, and my brain was like, block Jeremy, but then also at the same time I was like, well, Dylan's coming, you should probably block that. So I like hesitated. I'm really bad at hesitating. I don't know why. Like my brain second guesses. Anyways, Jeremy got underneath me, but then Dylan got turned, and then what else happened? Oh yeah, and then Simcox came down and then hit Jeremy, and then rest was history. But yeah, it was a lot of things happened in my brain the last lap. A lot of things to think about.
I would say so. A whole lot of craziness happened that last lap, and especially coming out of the corner. It was a lot of fun. But Mason, good job. You're a 4-time winner now. James will have something to talk about when he gets back next week, and that should be exciting. Is there anyone you want to mention or thank before I let you go?
Shout out to my teammates, man. We worked together really good today. Honestly, I don't want to say we had control of the race, but we did pretty good. Sucks. We were trying our hardest to get Ricky to get a win so he could advance to the next round. But I mean, we executed perfectly until it just didn't work out. But yeah, just shout out to DHR. It's been a hell of a year, and hope we finish off strong.
Well, folks, that's Mason Thompson, 4-time winner here at MENRL. Mason, I hope you have a good night.
Yep, 10-4, man.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap up coverage for this race this evening. Really exciting at the end. Kind of long in the middle. Not a lot happens in these races other than trying to battle through some attrition. We saw a bunch of drivers have trouble that didn't want to have trouble. Curtis Ecker was really looking for a win. Richard Mendonça was looking for a win. Jeremy Robbins needed a win, and he was nearly there. 0.04 of a second off. Mason Thompson wins at Talladega. Jeremy Robbins, oh so close, yet so far P2. David Simcox Jr. comes from 2 laps down with the shot to win it. The last 100 yards, winds up 3rd. Chris Isaacs 4th. Zachary Mertz 5th. Dylan Herviton, dominant for the most part of this race, has pit road trouble. It's a timely yellow to get him back into this thing. And coming out of turn 4 with an absolute shot to win the race, gets put in the wall, finishes 6th. Curtis Ecker ends up 5 laps down. He had trouble coming to the white flag before the green-white checkered. He finishes 7th. Mason Connors 8th. 9th is Richard Mendonça. And he is who rounds out the rest of the field. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this production of Sim Racing Media. It was a bit of a long race, but super speedways are a lot of fun. If you stuck it out for the end of it, you really saw stunning finish. I hope you all have a great evening. Check us out next time here at Sim Racing Media.